Michael Israel here with Real TV Worldwide. I have got to get this off my chest. I had to do a show today, so here we go. Today's show is called The Truth About Halloween. It's urgent that we talk about it, and we understand that there's many videos, many podcasts, and there's a lot of information that you can find on the web. But even with this information at our fingertips, a lot of us disregard this information and yet still participate with these Halloween festivities. So what we have to deal with and what we have to dissect is the meaning of Halloween. What is Halloween? What is it about? How did it originate? And through common sense, we understand these things, yet we still partake. We can look at the evil faces of the masks and costumes and understand that it is evil. Yet we still partake. Why is that? Why is that? So, we have to understand what it is. And we're going to talk about that. So, Halloween, essentially, when you think about it, it's a time of getting. It's a time of receiving candy. It's a time of going to these Halloween parties. And, ultimately, it's a time of sacrifice. From October 13th all the way to October 31st is a preparation in Satanism of sacrifice. It's like the time where a lot of kidnappings will be going on, Amber Alerts, things like that. All for this preparation for this big day. If Satan could have a holiday himself, it will most likely be Halloween, if not Christmas. Which Christmas is a whole nother different story. I mean, the 25th is not even in the scripture. December 25th is not even in the scripture, period. But to stay on topic, it's about getting candy, carving pumpkins, and people being something who they're not. Children and adults get to be whoever they want to be, and as soon as they put on a costume, immediately they get right in character. As soon as you put on the mask, you immediately become that character. Act as if you're really that character. You know, just yesterday, I went out into the city, and I took a long nap, and I woke up after hours. It was like 12-ish. And so I'm like, I just want to take a walk. So went out, and I was just shocked. I totally forgot that Halloween is on an upcoming weekday, but you know how it is. People celebrate on a weekend if an event falls on a weekday. So I went out, all these people in costumes, masks, and everything. And one of the most hilarious part, there's this guy that was dressed up as a lima bean or a string bean, man. I mean, dressed up like a damn string bean. Pardon my French. Dressed up like a string bean, sitting down on a window pane outside the club with like his string bean hat in his lap. And it looked like he lost his date. He couldn't get a date. So not only are you dressing up in a costume like a fool, but you're dressed up like a fool and you lost your date. Like you didn't get a number that night. It's bad enough as it is after the parties. People, well, how it is over here in the South, in Georgia. I don't know how it is in your city. But after the club, people mostly go to IHOP, Denny's, something like that. They normally go and get some breakfast right after the nightlife. So if you didn't get anybody in the club, you didn't get no numbers in the club, then you go and get breakfast. You don't go to eat breakfast because you're not that hungry. You trying to meet more people. And if you met someone, you trying to get something to eat until you know how it is. So anyways, this guy's looking like a fool, dressed like a lima bean. It's just, it's sad. So, in essence, not only are children wanting to be someone else, to be someone who they're not, whether it's superheroes, Barbie dolls, firemen, pumpkins, whatever it is that they're dressing like, adults are doing just the same thing. But there's a scripture that talks about this. Not so much the costumes, but in essence, it falls into the category of this. When I was a child, I did childish things. I spake as a child. I did things. You know what I mean? I'm just paraphrasing the scripture right now. Basically, as a child, I did childish things. Now that I am a man, I have put away childish things. So when you become a new creature, or even if you're not a new creature yet, and you're trying to be a better person, well, within your cocoon, you have to leave some things outside of your circle as you're trying to morph into what it is that you're trying to be. There's no way that a caterpillar can be involved with the outer elements of its cocoon before it morphs into a butterfly. Sometimes you have to you need a little solitude away from these holidays, these holy days that they have. Halloween is just another holy day for those who worship Satan and practice Wicca and all this extra crazy stuff. It's just another holiday, holy day that people are celebrating. And sometimes before you elevate, you have to have some type of solitude. Before scientists can create the next invention, they need solitude in their laboratory, working on whatever it is that they're trying to make better. They have to have solitude with those elements. When an artist creates a masterpiece, that artist needs solitude in order to create a great masterpiece. Even though people could be around her, but you're more focused. You understand? When you go running, though you could run as a group, run in a group, you're more focused when you're running by you get what I'm saying. You understand? So, the topic of tonight is the truth about Halloween. And I always wondered, what would it be like? Because they say trick or treat, right? What if people just say trick and they don't give you a treat? They just say, you open the door, they say trick, and then they put I don't know, they put roaches in your candy bag and then close the door. Then what are you going to do? Everybody's expecting a treat. But we're going to talk about that shortly. Halloween is nothing but a night of fear. It's coming up shortly. It's coming up within, like 2 days or so? It's nothing but a night of fear. And you know why it's so popular? Because people love fear. People love it. You go to the fair to get on the rides for fear. You go get on roller coasters for fear. You go to the movies because you like scary movies. You like the fear. You like the guys like taking a girl, holding them, and trying to be a man and try to act like they're not scared. But they love fear. People love going to haunted houses. They'll go once, and then they'll get out, and then they'll go back because they know how it is a little bit. They want to master their, you see? Is it all fun and games, or is it something else? Is Halloween really a pagan holiday, or is it something else? Is it just people dressing up for fun? Is it just a date that was just that we just thought of, It was like, okay, let's just celebrate Halloween. We're gonna dress up. We're gonna just why is it October 31st? Why is it why do people dress up in gruesome costumes and masks and things? Why do people go bobbing for apples? Why do people carve pumpkins? You never just like thought about it, just sat down and thought about it. Like you never really, like you know what it is, but you still do it. But you're not supposed to do it if you're trying to elevate and be a better yourself for the Most High. Why put your soul on the line for a costume? Why put your soul on the line for a costume? Some people might be like, Michael, you're way out there right now. Well, I'm not. A lot of people go out and they don't live to see the next day. A lot of people get drunk. A lot of people get raped. People get kidnapped. People get in DUIs and get in accidents and they never see the light of day. Do you really think that no one is going to die on this day? They're going to be dressed up in a witch's costume or some superhero costume or some Michael Myers costume or whatever it is, and they'll probably get in an accident and die just like that, putting their soul on the line, all for a holy day that Satanists promote. Do you understand? All right, so what is the truth about Halloween? What is the truth? Is there a hidden agenda behind it? When you go back to the root, when you go to the doctor, right? The doctor will ask you what happened. Whatever element it is. Whether you have strep throat, you have stomach pain, eye issues, weight loss. I mean, whatever it is that you have that is an issue, and you go to the doctor, it is the doctor's duty to ask you what happened. What were you doing? What was the root? Even though they know how to prescribe this sickness or illness, they have to ask, how did it happen? Well, how did you break your arm? How did you sprain your ankle? Right? So what we have to do is go back to the root of this Halloween thing. How did it start? What is the root of Halloween? Well, what we have to understand, and what we do understand, is that Satan fell from heaven. Satan and a third of the angels, the fallen angels, fell from heaven, and they can't go back. Period. They can't go back. Now, Satan does have access to and from heaven to get authority from the Most High of what he can and can't do. But he can't go back to heaven and get his authority back. You understand? So he has access to it. But the fallen angels, they can't go back. They can't go back. So it's a scripture how Satan, there's a scripture in the word how Satan describes how he wants to be just like the Most High, and how he would set his kingdom above the Most High. He's going to try to do that and all these things. We know how it goes. Everything that is right is flipped the opposite to be just like what the Most High ordained. Instead of regular marriage, it's crazy types of marriage. Instead of regular sex, it's crazy types of sex. Instead of regular rules, it's outrageous, do what thou wilt type of rules. There is no rules. You do what you want to do, etc. So we know how it works. He's trying to be just like the Most High, and he wants people to worship him. And he literally does everything in his power to make people worship him. This Halloween holiday is nothing but a form of worship. It is worship in itself to Satan. And people just happily volunteer. It's a happy. Some people just cannot wait to dress up, all for one night. Some people just enjoy scaring people. I mean, it's scaring people is fun to do. It's fun to hide behind a corner to some people and just jump out and go ah and scare someone. And then you laugh it off. You know, we do it as kids. Sometimes we do it here and there, but in essence, we have to talk about the root. We have to talk about how it started out. And a lot of people don't know that Halloween started out with the Celtic people. The Celtic people out over there by Ireland and all that. They started this whole Halloween type of ritual that we have now. And what they believed in, these Celtics, they believed in magic, different gods, fear of druids. Druids, in essence, is a type of priest. Is a type of priest under the Celtic culture, if you will. They were very ritualistic. They cast spells. They did witchcraft. They did human sacrifices to pay homage to their gods. That's what it's all about. Halloween is derived from the word Samhain. Samhain Day. You're going to have to look this one up to understand. But it's Samhain. That's one word. And this was the most celebrated day in their culture. Samhain Day was all about how can I say? Worshiping spirits from the dead. And they were afraid of these spirits from the dead. Because they believed that when these spirits from the dead came, and which they actually did see, according to them, and to their history, that they wouldn't come back like regular people, like how we see each other now. They would literally come back as grotesque people, this weird looking people, like Pet Cemetery type of people. And they were afraid. So what the Celtics did to protect themselves from this evil, all they did was they wore these evil and wicked looking costumes to resemble these spirits that came back from the dead. So they put on these costumes to trick the spirits. You get it? Just to blend in when these spirits came back from the dead. Now, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. And I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. This is real TV. And we have to know the truth. We have to put this truth out there. It is a duty for us to know this truth and put it out. Silence is betrayal. If you know the truth and don't say the truth, then the blood is on your hands. A lot of people don't want the truth because they don't want to be accountable for it. They don't want to hear it because they know that once they hear the truth, they're accountable for the truth. So they don't want nothing to do with it. A lot of people don't want truth because they don't want nothing to do with it. Right? So, long story short, just to break down this whole truth about the Halloween thing, the Celtics, they demanded on this holiday that people celebrate. I don't celebrate it, but on this holiday that people are going to celebrate coming up, they don't understand that the origin started out with the Celtics giving their children as sacrifices. These spirits demanded a sacrifice. So what they would do, they would take the youngest child in the village or in their household, and they would place chains on their child and put them on a post outside the house, on the front porch, or outside the house, period. And when these spirits would come from the grave or come from this demonic realm on this day, they would look for the youngest sacrifice, the most acceptable sacrifice. And when it was acceptable to them, what they would do was carve these grotesque faces into turnips. See, it started out with turnips first because turnips is more popular in Ireland, not the pumpkins. Pumpkins didn't start until this whole Halloween thing came to the USA. So, and they actually still do use turnips to this day in some parts over there in Ireland. So they would carve these faces in these turnips, and when they would see these faces carved, they would know that their sacrifice was accepted. And speaking of that, did you know that in Satanism, the most prized and the highest sacrifice that one can do in Satanism is giving up a newborn child. Not just any newborn child, but a male newborn child. That's the highest sacrifice. And then you wonder why. When you go back to the scripture, again, Satan, man, it's just something else. Did not Satan want to kill every newborn baby that was 2 and under? When Yeshua was just a little baby? But y'all don't hear me though. Y'all don't hear me. But let's go on. So they'll sacrifice these kids, and the thing that they do now, and they do a lot in parts of Africa like Kenya and some other countries there, but they want to blame it on Africa because of the voodoo and cutting chickens and stuff. We're doing the same witchcraft here. Hence, Miriam Abramovich, who paints with pig blood and talks about mixing semen with breast milk and stuff like this for these Pizzagate spirit cooking parties, which involve a lot of high and popular U.S. officials. So they do these things here too. But the craziest thing is when people, this sounds crazy now, what I'm about to tell you. When these people want fortune and fame, they'll go to these witch doctors, they'll go to the occultists, and they ask, what can I do? Besides selling their soul and stuff like that. When it comes to fortune and fame for a new building, a new property, a new hotel, or what have you, they'll go to these witch doctors and they'll tell them that the highest form of sacrifice is a newborn or a very young boy. And what they'll do, they'll tell them that they need to cut off the hands, cut off the feet, and place those items in a hole at the ground where they want to build their building. They say if it's a boy, then the head has to come off. They chop off the head. If it's a girl, then it's another way that they do it then. But they'll take these parts and they'll put them in the ground, the foundation of the building. So for their fame and fortune. Doesn't that sound a little... But y'all don't know about the thousands of bones that the Rockefeller building in New York is sitting on. Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of bodies. I don't want to veer off too far. But these spirits demand a sacrifice. And if people didn't want to give their sons or they didn't want to give their daughters during these times back in the day, what they would do was they'll put these 5-pointed pentagrams in goat's blood on their door. And someone that night would die. Someone that night would die. Because back in the day, they really feared these spirits. They feared them so much that they dressed like them just to blend in with them. They were that afraid. Some people would die from natural causes. Some people would die because they're playing with spirits. This Halloween thing has nothing to do with candy. Children need to know this. Children need to know this truth. They need to know this. Parents got to stop playing games and just getting them dressed up and not explaining them. At least, all I'm going to say, people going to do what they want to do regardless. That's not for me to judge. You do what you want to do. But if you're gonna do the Halloween thing, at least tell them what they're dressing up for. I'm not promoting it, but you're just getting them dressed up. But if a kid asks you why is there Halloween? Why am I dressing up? What are you gonna tell them? Oh, everybody just does it. Come on, that's your child. You're not gonna educate your child. You don't want to give them the truth. And for those that are in truth, we have to let these children know so they can be evangelists and tell the truth to other children. We adults got to stop playing games, got to stop dressing up. People dress up when it's not a holiday. But out of all the days you could dress up, you really, really want to dress up for this one really, really bad. Why? Around this time also, they have these practices out at the Stonehenge. And back in the day too, the Druids these priests used to have sacrifices there. But now nobody knows, quote unquote, what goes on at Stonehenge. They don't know what those rocks are for. No one knows, right? But yet y'all was there during the eclipse on August 21st. They had an eclipse ceremony there. They know what's going on. See, those stones hold energy. And when they do all right. I'm not going to touch it. It's too long of a story. But during this time of the year, there's a lot of abductions, there's a lot of kidnappings and things going on. And parents have to be aware of this. You take one look away, and your child is vulnerable. That could be a wrap. Whether it's at a mall, whether it's in your front yard, whether it's in your backyard, the porch, the playground, schools, or whatever. You could look away, and your child could be gone just in a second. When I was walking home, I noticed the shoe on the ground. It was like a size 5. And it was a Jordan shoe. It could have been any shoe, but it was like, I only was walking outside for like 20 minutes, and I noticed a shoe. It just things that just make you think, man. Things that make you think. I woke up the other night, like a week ago, in the middle of the night, and I heard a faint screaming. Like a faint, just a faint scream, I don't know how to describe it. It didn't sound like a cat, it didn't sound like a dog, it sounded like a woman, or it just sounded like a young woman or older woman. I don't know, but it was so traumatizing that it woke me up out of my sleep, and I sleep good. I sleep real good. When I lay down, there's nothing. I sleep real good. I'm a heavy sleeper. And it was going, the sounds was going on for maybe 5 minutes. I got up to look out the window. I'm trying to see where it's coming from. I stay in the high rise. I'm like, where's the sound coming from? Sound like they were helpless. And it was late. It had to have been at least 3-4 o'clock in the morning. At least. And next thing you know, I'm looking all over. I'm trying to see where it's going. I'm looking out the window. I'm to the point where I'm ready to put on some clothes, put on some shoes, and go outside and see what's going on. See if somebody really needs some help. And about 10, 15 minutes later, you hear whoop, whoop, whoop. Police. Look outside, police nowhere to be found. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that during this time, we have to be cautious of where we at. Forget these Halloween parties. Forget all this candy stuff. Just stay home. If you don't gotta be nowhere, if you don't gotta run your errands, other than that, just stay home for a little bit. We gotta be wise. We have to be wise. So the hidden agenda of Halloween is this. This is the truth about Halloween. I'm going to try to make this a short show. I see we going at 30 minutes. The hidden agenda of Halloween is this. And I'm going to talk about this thing that is this hidden agenda right after this short break. We're going to take just a short break in just a moment. This is called the simple things. We need to be a little bit more simple and not be following these crazy holidays. There's nothing wrong with being a simple man, a simple woman. Eating your food, relaxing, spending time with your loved ones. You don't need to be putting on a costume and worshiping these crazy, bobbing for apples. It's so crazy. We're going to talk about the hidden agenda about Halloween in just a moment. Michael Isreal with Real TV 1. Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check. And we back. We're back. Real TV. So, again, let's go ahead and break down this hidden agenda of Halloween. The hidden agenda is this. It's to fascinate you. It's to lure you in to do things that you're not supposed to be doing. It's to captivate our children to desire to be something other than themselves. You get to be anyone that you want to be, all for one night. And as of late, I mean, I'm pretty sure this whole witch thing has been promoted for some time now. When you think about the city of Salem and the witch hunt and all this stuff like that. But you got all these Harry Potter movies out who are promoting children and adults to be wizards and witches and warlocks. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, this is a time where they want you to be out. So many people are going to be out in costumes all for one night. All for one day. It's so quick. It's quicker and easier for a child to get kidnapped in a costume. People in a costume could just take them. And you're not worried about that at all. Even though you could be right there. All you have to do is turn away. All it takes is just a second. They pull up in a black van or a white van with tent, and that's a wrap. You need to stay focused and keep your eyes on about what's going on in your city. What's happening? What's going on in the news? I mean, you have to be alert, and you have to be aware of these Amber Alerts that keep popping up here and there. Why are Amber Alerts? You have to ask yourself, why are Amber Alerts popping up around Halloween? Why are Amber Alerts always popping up around the Super Bowl? Why are Amber Alerts always pop? You know what I mean? You have to be aware of your surrounding. You have to be wise as serpents. Don't be a serpent. Be wise as them. Just as wise. You understand? And it's the thing about it is this. It's not the children's problem per se. It's the parents. It's the parents buying the costumes. It's the parents buying these witchcraft books for their kids and things like that. It's the parents. You are the ones that have to teach your child what is what. And if you're allowing them to do this and you're not teaching them, that's your fault. That's your fault. Period. I'm going to keep it real with you. This is Real TV. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. If you want some sugarcoat, you know where to go. This is not that type of show. The witchcraft and Satanism, they're religions. It's a religion. And then you have some churches out there who say embrace all religions. This Halloween day is a holy religious day for people who are involved with witchcraft and Satanism. Period. The scripture tells us that what? It's appointed for man once to die. Once to die, and then after death, there's judgment. After death, there's judgment. But people say after death, ghosts exist. No, ghosts don't exist. It's called demons. People go see psychics and mediums, and they tell you that all you need to do is move the piano out the living room and put it back in the basement, and then the ghost will leave. Well, as soon as you move that piano from the living room to the basement, you just gave approval to the demon that they have control over their house. They're not going to just sit there and tell you the truth. You have to think this is not your uncle, it's not your grandma, it's not your mama, it's not your sister, your brother, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife. It is a demon. Demons are around us 24/7 a day. They see us. They know what we say. They know what we're doing. They're demons. The scriptures tell us it is for us once to die. Is appointed for us once to die, and after that is judgment. That's it. Period. It says death knows nothing. Even Lazarus, who lifted his eyes up in hell and wanted a drop of water, even he couldn't come back as a ghost. Yeah, he asked the Lord, just let me come back so I can tell my brothers not to come here. Just let me, please. No. If they won't believe the words that they're hearing on earth, how are they going to believe you as a ghost? You understand? Maybe I'm going too deep. This is the truth about Halloween. We have to deal with it. You got people dressing as ghosts, goblins, and witches. And they tell us that there's good witches and there's bad witches. Like on the Wizard of Oz, there's a good witch, there's a bad witch. There is no good witch. The only good witch there is a dead witch. There's only bad witches. Now I'm not giving a stand up for any of us that are righteous to be witch hunters. That's not our goal. Our goal is not to go out and seek who are witches and put them on a stake or something like that. No, that's not the mentality. The whole concept of this dialogue and this podcast is for us to become conscious of what we're doing and to stop all this foolishness. We too grown to be acting like we ain't. And we too, you know what I mean. We got too much pride. We got too much pride, y'all. That's what it is. We gotta let it go. We gotta let go of that pride. Most High gives grace unto the humble, and He resisted the pride. A lot of us have so much pride. We like, man, whatever. It's Halloween. It ain't like I'm gonna wear my costume anyway, or I don't want to do. I ain't gonna do this. I ain't gonna. That's pride. Our children deserve the truth. I don't have any children, but if I did, I'm damn sure not gonna let them wear no costume and let them go get candy that can be infested with lace gummy bears. Somebody stick a needle in the Twix. Yeah, the wrapper is on there. Someone could have, come on, and then not tell them the truth. You're setting them up for failure. You're setting them up for a broken heart. Letting them know that Halloween is okay to celebrate. Telling them that the tooth fairy is real, and if you put your tooth under the pillow, you'll see money in the morning. So that as a child, they wake up 5 times a night because you told them a lie that there's going to be money under their pillow, and they're looking for the tooth fairy all night. They can't sleep. They're up hours on end trying to find that tooth fairy, checking under their pillow, touching their gums with their tongue with hopes of seeing something that is so-called angelic. Because you told them something good. They don't think their parents are lying to them. It never crosses their mind. So when it comes from their parent, someone who they love and trust, who feeds them, who clothes them, they think that this fairy is a good thing. But you're telling them a lie, a fib about this demon. You're telling them to make a Christmas list. You're telling them to write this letter and give it to me, and I'll send it to the North Pole tomorrow. I take it to the post office so we can send this letter to the North Pole. You're getting them dressed up in the Sunday's best, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, and you taking them to the mall to go get pictures on a pedophile's lap, on this Santa Claus's lap to take pictures, and you wonder why they cry. And you think it's funny because they crying in the photo. And now you have it on a plaque. You have it in a beautiful frame on a wall. Oh, see, this is you and you're crying. Yet, you didn't know that Santa Claus was pricking them with a needle. Pricking them with a sewer's needle. Or that Santa Claus was pinching them. Or that Santa Claus was groping their genitals on a low. Rubbing their butt on a low. The whole countenance. And you think it's funny. It's not funny. It's a lie. Stop lying to them. Stop telling them about this tooth fairy stuff. Stop telling them about Santa Claus. Stop talking about the Easter bunny. That the Easter bunny is going to leave you a basket. Tell them what it is about. Tell them Easter bunnies don't lay eggs, man. Come on, bunnies don't even lay eggs, and people are egg hunting. And you know it's a joke. You know it's a game, and you're not even telling them. You know, one of the people I applaud, he's dead now. And there's a couple on one hand that I can applaud. But I'm going to just talk about this one in general. His name is Aaron Russo. He's the only one that I can say that was on a celebrity level that told the truth. It doesn't matter whether your life is on the line or not. You have to say it. He told the truth, and he spilled out a lot of stuff. And he was around a lot of people that had some pull. I mean, around the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, and stuff like this. He told some truth. But what he didn't tell people was that how the industry is also molesting these kids and kidnapping them and stuff like this. You got Nick Cannon the other day that just went on the record and said, don't allow your kids to come into this industry. You got Nick Cannon who's saying this, who started off with Nickelodeon. Maybe I'm getting off track. Maybe I'm talking too much about Hollywood, so I'm going to go ahead and stop on that. But the fact of the matter is this. They got these children and these adults who are infatuated with Halloween. This is the hidden agenda. This is the truth about Halloween, is that it's all aimed to serve and worship Satan, even if it's for one night. They talk so much about witches that people want to be witches. Even if you're not in a costume. You got people on social media, I want to deal with yoga real quick, who do all this chanting, all these ums and oohs and ahs, do all these crazy poses, throwing up the 666. They throwing up the 6 all the time. They worshiping other gods, just like the Celtics and the Druids. And they're visual witches who have you under infatuation. It's not about no stretching your spine and so you could be a health. It's all a game. And they have I don't even know where to go. It's just so much to talk about. From yoga to people dealing with crystal balls and tarot cards and all this stuff. You got women who are reading books from Barnes and Nobles, Books A Million, Amazon, wherever. They downloading PDF files. They're downloading apps to figure out how to be a witch. They're trying to tap into this secret magical information that could bring them anything in their heart's desire at their command. They're doing these spells and putting hexes on people. They putting their period blood in spaghetti and feeding it to you on a full moon. They doing stuff like that, whether it's spaghetti, lasagna, they on a hot pocket. They slip it. I wouldn't doubt it. They slip it in a hot pocket. They got stuff where these women are burying men's underwear to keep other women away and stuff. They promote and tell you that this and this spell, you put A, B, and C together, and then it'll allow you to read the mind of your professor so you could get better grades for school during the test and stuff like that. And they believe it and they do it. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I'm not going to do it and see if it works. I know that the spirit realm is true. I don't play with that. I don't mess with that. You have so many cartoons that promote it. Even though witches are mainly women, and men are warlocks. I don't know why I'm on witches, but you got movies, Hocus Pocus, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, got Twilight about vampires and things. It's a lot of promotion. The question is why and how did it start? What is the root? We know the diagnosis, but what is the root? Does nobody want to do no research no more? It's at our fingertips. All we got to do is press a button. Matter of fact, you don't even have to press a button. You can ask Siri, and she'll do the work for you. But a lot of people don't want to. It's just sad. It's just sad. We as people have to move beyond this illegitimate holy day. This wicked holy day. You know, I got a lot of nieces and nephews. I got 6 sisters. The youngest is 11. And then there's Jamila. Jamila is, I want to say 28, 27. No, Jamila's 27. She got 4 kids. Then there's Samaria. She has 4 kids. And then Takia has a baby. And then Jackie, how old is Jackie? Jackie's 24. Jackie has 4 kids. Long story short, or children rather. They're all children. Not kids, not goats. But the other day I wanted to spend some time with my nieces and nephews because I want to show them love and build memories on a day that's not a Halloween day. I don't have to spend time with them on a day like this just because everybody else is doing it. So what did I do? I went out and I got some barbecue. I got some stuff to throw on the grill. And they're young. They're from the ages of 3 and 9. So I let them kind of help me on the grill a little bit. Play some games outside. We had a little a mini class inside. I showed them how to cut a coconut, even though they're not old enough. Just let them know that only adults can do it. I let them know what a coconut was. I asked them what color it was. I told them where it derives from, what tree it grows on, how the water comes out. We all tried some of the water, cut it open. We all had a little bit of the water. And then I had a pomegranate. I let them know a pomegranate. I let them know that only grows in certain seasons. I asked them what color it was. I asked them what did they think it tastes like. We cut it open. They said it tastes like grapes almost. I said how it's similar to corn in a way. They liked it. They never had coconut before. They never had pomegranate before. But I do know this, that every time they taste a coconut, every time they taste a pomegranate, every time they taste barbecue when they grow older, they'll remember the times that we had. They'll remember that pineapple that we cut and that we tried. They'll remember putting charcoal on the grill with me, putting the wood chips on the grill with me. They'll remember our prayer together before grace. And I always tell them to pray and to be good for their mother and things like this. I'm not going to celebrate Halloween with them. I'm not going to dress up with them. I don't know what my sister's doing, but that's her and that's her kids. My sister knows the truth. My sister knows what to do. But they're not my children. Those are her children. Just like if you have children, you have to guide them in the direction they should go. You can tell them, but you can't force them. I can't force my nieces and nephews. I can tell them, and I can't force my sister. I can only tell her. So we want to know about the truth about Halloween. We want to know, well, why are there haunted houses? What is a haunted house? A haunted house is basically inhabited by spirits of the dead. So-called, you get these demonic attacks. Well, how is a haunted house hunted? It could be hunted by many ways. It could be a murder, a demon, a demonic deed. There could have been any type of abuse going on in the house, whether it's physical abuse, verbal abuse. That's why we gotta watch out what we say. Life is in the power of the tongue, and how we should be judged for everything that we say. We got to be careful. There could have been a torture in that house. Someone could have literally just opened up a book and summoned a demon to go in that house. People do Ouija boards. A lot of people are going to be doing Ouija boards, playing with tarot cards and crystal balls. Gotta leave that stuff alone. Gotta leave it alone. There's an incident in the city where a police officer went to this house because it was a lot of these teens and having beer parties in this vacant house or what have you. So the police officer went in the house to see what's going on. And what he noticed in the house was that he went into the master bedroom and he saw a dead squirrel in the bedroom. It was on the ground within a 5-pointed pentagram that was in a circle. So the house had this crazy stench because of this dead squirrel. So he moved the squirrel from out the circle. Days later, this police officer wrecked like 2 or 3 police cars. He fell off a ladder and broke his arm. His wife was having element issues. His kids was acting any kind of way. I mean, you can't play with this stuff. This is a real deal here. This is the real deal here. This is not just a costume day. There's a guy named Anton LaVey. Anton LaVey was the head of the Church of Satan. He founded the book of Wicca, or Satanism. He even changed his name to Aleister Crowley to some of the number 666 in numerology. And that number, of course, as we know, it has so many different correlations to the sum of carbon, which is 6 protons, 6 atoms, 6 neutrons. We already know the deal. But we know the signification of this number and what it means in this world, this present world. So, anyways, I brought him up because in his book that he wrote, which he was under demonic, demonic, he was under the influence, he was under demonic influence to write this book. Like, his hands was moving, but he wasn't the one writing it. And in this book, in their belief system, these people make pacts with the devil for fortune and fame, whether it's celebrities or whether it's just the fortune, and is dealing with government officials, doctors, judges, lawyers. They make a pact with the devil for a certain amount of time, and then after that certain amount of time, Satan collects on that contract. When your time is up, your life is done. Period. So, to who this pertains to, Halloween is not for you. You're listening to this podcast for a reason. There's a reason you clicked on it. There's a reason if you've been with the show since day one. There's a reason why you stuck with it. There's a reason on why whatever show you watch that sent the algorithm for you to receive this, or whether you're just tuning into the show as the next show that you're keeping up with. Energy thrives to energy. If babies on the beach were walking towards the ocean, then every adult, teen, and other child would be looking at those babies that are walking to the ocean. Everybody's eyes will look towards those babies. That's energy. When someone is yelling for help, the people who are around that person yelling for help will look towards that way. That's energy. When a wave topples into another wave before it hits the crescent of the sand, that's energy. There's 1,000 examples that we can talk about on energy. I'm just going off top. Energy thrives on energy. And there's a reason why you clicked on this show. Maybe you had an idea about the truth about Halloween. Maybe you need a refresh because you really were thinking about, dang, should I get a costume or should I just dress up this one last time? You know, this year, the answer is no. The answer is no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So is it really about trick or treat? It's really about a trick. You're being tricked to worship a holiday that you shouldn't be. and you think that it's a treat to yourself of satisfaction that if you participate, you'll be satisfied. Even police call this time, I think they call it like Hell Night or something like that, where there's a lot of vandalism going on to different buildings in commercial areas. There's a lot of arson, people building fires, burning, setting building and things on fires. There's a lot of deaths, a lot of DUIs, etc. And speaking of the fires, did you know that bonfires is not a good thing? Basically, back when the Druids would see if they're going to have a good year or not, they would set up these bonfires. And they also would have human sacrifices within these bonfires. And the light was supposed to symbolize or to let the spirits know that their sacrifice was being prepared. Hence, the Bohemian Grove does the same thing. The Wicker Man concert does the same thing. The Burning Man concert is the same thing. There's a scripture that I want to read up on real quick before we close out. We're going a little over an hour. I didn't think it was going to be this long, but hey, we all need this information. This scripture talks about what we shouldn't be doing regarding this holiday, Halloween. This is from Deuteronomy chapter 18. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy Elohim giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And it goes on to read much more. Much, much more. But when you break a portion of this down into a couple of pieces, you understand that abomination is something that the Most High hates. And for the Most High to hate, that is pretty strong. That is very, very strong. When you're dealing with love. When you're dealing with a creator who develops love into its entirety. So this is something that the Most High hates. There's people that's going to be sacrificing their child for money or fame, fortune or fame, and for whatever other reasons and things, which there is no reason, but they're going to be doing it for this time. This is probably one of the most sacrificial days that are coming up. It says that we shouldn't be witches. Yet you're going to have people dressing as witches. If he doesn't want us to be a witch, why would he want us to dress like a witch? You're like, all right, I don't want y'all to, don't be a witch. And you're like, okay, yes, sir, yes, sir. But then you go get a costume to dress like a witch. Well, which one is it? He doesn't want us to be involved with wizards. Yet we dress like wizards and we promote Harry Potter. Which one is it? We shouldn't be involved with necromancers. People who do it to dead people. Yet you're going to have a lot of people dressing up like dead people having sex. It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. We got to change the way we think. We got to change the way we do things. And it's stressful. It's very stressful to deal with this sometimes. Sometimes we need to go by the beach and we need to clear our mind. Because we've been taught some of the wrong things. This is Michael Isreal, Real TV. This song is called The Beach. I'll see y'all soon. Have a good night. Be safe. Sometimes you could be in a situation that can be a little difficult. And it makes you wonder why we say good morning when we're feeling sad and we're mourning. So is that morning good, or is the morning just a good morning? Went to Savannah Tech, and then I dropped out. My math teacher kicked me out. I met my girl at the old mall. It was one call. After that we had a date. I met my dad when I was 21 or 22. And after that, I never seen him again. I haven't met my brother yet. He's still in the pen. I lived with my mom when I was 13. Or when I was 14. For the very first time. And that was only for 4 years. And after that, never again. Lived with my grandma. But I slept on the floor though. We were so broke. Peanut butter's on the spoon and roaches crawling on the ceiling. Roaches crawling in the tub and rolling crawling. I remember on my, it's hard to talk about my job, called me a nigga. But that was then. And I took it to the EEOC, and they didn't even do nothing back then. And I tried to tell the truth then. But people don't want to listen, they like the commercial music. Sometimes you need to hit the beach. Sometimes you need to hit the beach. Sometimes I need to hit the beach and just cry, or just get up in the ocean and sit. Just get up in the ocean and put my faces down in the water and just. Sometimes I just need to hit the beach. Sometimes we just gotta hit the beach. Sometimes we just need to go and sit. Sometimes we just need to go and think. Sometimes I just really need a drink. And I don't drink. And I don't smoke. I don't drink and I don't smoke. Sometimes I just need to. Sometimes I don't even got the words to say. So I just freestyle. So I just try to pray. I just need to go to the beach. I just need to go to the beach.